Might there be a chance here to discover the treasure once and for all? Sure. There's all of these clues that strongly suggest this area holds significant interest.
Marty Lagina lost his cool when Rick dropped a bombshell. Turns out, Dan Blankenship might have struck gold years ago and kept it hush-hush. Deep below Oak Island, the team uncovered a secret room packed with ancient gold and weird symbols that flipped everything they thought they knew. The hunt took a crazy twist, and the mystery just got juicier. Stick around. You won't believe what they dig up next. Before proceeding further with the video, please subscribe to the channel. The Oak Island puzzle keeps getting wilder. While drilling way down, the crew hit a huge empty space, something totally new. This creepy chamber hinted at a maze of tunnels underground. Then came the real shocker, a hidden vault. But what really got everyone buzzing were strange markings they'd never seen before, clues to a secret that might have been buried for decades. What they found next could rewrite history. The team's all fired up to figure out what this means. Rick, though, isn't mad. He's hooked. He thinks this could be the key to unlocking Oak Island's secrets. If someone knew about this vault way back when, they probably left hints the teams missed all along. Digging deeper, in every sense, they found bits of gold stuck in old wood, proof something big's still hiding nearby. And that's not all. DNA from bones in the money pit showed ties to Europe and the Middle East, making the story even crazier. Who were these people, and why'd they come to Oak Island ages ago? Flooding's been a headache for years, but now it's getting weirder. The closer they get to the vault, the more surprises pop up. Something, or someone, seemed dead set on keeping them away, and wild ideas about curses and spooky forces started flying. But the big question was, had someone already solved the mystery and left a trail for them to chase? The team was at each other's throats, figuring out what to do next. Marty was all in, pushing hard. He felt like every second wasted was a missed shot at glory. Rick, the history buff, pumped the brakes. If they'd really hit on something huge, rushing in blind could ruin everything. Then, bam! Out of nowhere, they found an old map in some dusty records. It pointed to a whole new part of Oak Island they'd barely touched. If this map was legit, it could be the missing piece they'd been hunting for. So why did it stay hidden? Did the person who drew it mean to come back? Or did something scare them off? Just as the team geared up to dig, a massive storm rolled in, slamming the brakes on everything. And get this, it felt exactly like the storm that stopped searches years ago. Coincidence? Or was the island messing with them again? Rick's been obsessed with this since he was a kid, and it's easy to see why. Oak Island's one of the world's greatest unsolved riddles. He calls this spot Aladdin's Cave, a perfect name for a place that might be stuffed with treasure. Sonar scans were lighting up like crazy, showing weird straight edges and stacked stones that didn't belong there naturally. When they dropped a fancy camera down, what they saw nearly floored Marty. Marty's fists were clenched. He wanted answers now. Had they been chasing shadows this whole time? Was the famous treasure already snatched up and buried with whoever found it? The idea drove him nuts. The whole team had poured their hearts into cracking Oak Island's secrets. What if someone beat them to it ages ago and took the truth to their grave? The giant underground void was a jaw-dropper, but what came next was even wilder. Secret records, ancient gold locked in a vault, and proof piling up fast. They'd already found a weird latch buried on Lot 5, old pottery bits older than most settlers, and now this cave, a perfectly built chamber that couldn't be natural. Sonar scans hinted at something bigger. hidden tunnels stretching way beyond what their cameras could catch. This wasn't just a hunch anymore. It was real. As the team drilled deeper, tempers flared. Marty was steaming, convinced they'd been tricked. If Dan Blankenship had struck gold and kept it under wraps, why didn't he tell anyone? The more they uncovered, the clearer it got. This wasn't just about treasure. It was about power. Who controlled the island's secrets? Maybe Dan had been the last one holding all the cards. Marty wasn't just chasing riches anymore. He was after the truth about what Dan knew, what he hid, and whether they were about to crack Oak Island's biggest mystery wide open. Rick leaned in, studying the latest scan. The cavern, now way bigger than they'd thought, had a shape that screamed man-made. The walls curved just right, the rock layers lined up too perfectly. Then the drill jolted and stopped. Sensors went nuts. They'd hit something solid, something real. Marty's heart raced as the crew jumped into action. This wasn't another dead end. This was it. Rick called for the ground-penetrating radar, and boom! There it was on the screen. A huge rectangular thing buried deep, too neat and symmetrical to be natural. This was no fluke. They'd found it. The thing they'd been hunting all along. The team didn't waste a second. They fired up a new borehole, ready to see what was next. The drill was beefier now, ready to tackle whatever was hiding below. As it chewed through the earth, the team could barely stand the suspense. They weren't just poking around Oak Island anymore. They were peeling back layers of history, uncovering secrets someone had buried on purpose. Hours dragged on, the machines straining, until clang, the drill hit metal. Everyone in the control room froze. That sharp, unmistakable sound meant one thing. They'd struck something human-made, something that had been sitting there for centuries. The air buzzed with excitement, but there was a creepy vibe too. What if this was meant to stay lost? What if digging up Dan's secret pulled them into something way bigger than they'd bargained for? Marty gritted his teeth. Didn't matter. Whatever was down there, they were hauling it up. No more hiding, no more delays. Oak Island had played its games long enough. For years, people had torn this place apart, chasing rumors of hidden treasure. Was it all just a wild story? Rick and the crew were about to find out, and they might be the closest yet to proving something amazing is buried under their boots. This wasn't just talk anymore. The Money Pit, that legendary mystery spot, was giving up real clues. Tests showed tiny bits of gold in the water, proof something valuable was down there, seeping out. The team jumped into action. In the war room, Dr. Ian Spooner, Dr. Mark Luckman, and Dr. Fred Michael huddled up, digging into the science. Luckman's tests confirmed metal traces in the water. Something precious was close. Plus, weird stuff like old wood and pottery kept popping up, screaming that someone built something major deep underground. Hundreds of years ago, something big went down on Oak Island. And now, the team's on the verge of cracking it wide open. One borehole, L16, leads them straight to what they're calling Aladdin's Cave, a huge underground space loaded with gold traces and bits of old wood. This isn't some random hole. It's man-made, and it's hiding something juicy. That's all Rick needs to hear. The crew fires up a new drill, aiming right for the heart of this mysterious cave. Their mission? Drop a camera down there and peek into the shadows. At 153 feet, they hit empty space. Then, whoa, a tunnel entrance. Things just got wilder. Pushing the camera deeper, they spot a square-headed bolt stuck in a rock pile. No doubt about it. Someone built this. A secret door. Maybe even a treasure vault. Now that's the stuff of legends. While Rick's obsessed with the drilling, Gary Drayton's over on Lot 5, swinging his metal detector like a treasure-hunting rock star. It starts buzzing like crazy, and soon they're pulling up ancient coins, one after another. The deeper they dig, the more obvious it gets. These were stashed here centuries ago. But by who? The Romans? The Knights Templar? Everyone's got a theory. And the gold traces are all the proof they need to keep going. But hold up. The real shocker's still coming. Those coins? They're spilling secrets under the expert's magnifying glass. One's a mix of copper and silver, way older than anything modern. Another's got a stunning female figure, with metal matching ancient European coins. And the third? It might tie straight to the mysterious Knights Templar. Every discovery drops a new clue, but it also stirs up more questions. Marty, though, isn't sold yet. He's keeping his cool while the rest of the team's buzzing. Marty's not buying it. He wants rock-solid proof. Meanwhile, Rick's digging up secrets that might have been buried by Dan Blankenship himself, and the team's on edge. The island's spilling its guts as they uncover an old structure packed with iron, nails, fasteners, and even a rusty strap hinge from way back. Then comes the big one. A giant hand-forged nail from the 1600s. Some think it's tied to Sir William Phipps, and if they're right, the treasure hunt just got way more exciting. The finds keep stacking up, and so do the questions. Was Oak Island a secret stash spot long before anyone started looking? Are these clues from explorers, thieves, or some shadowy group protecting something bigger than gold? And the million-dollar question, how much did Dan Blankenship really know? Marty's not letting it go, but Rick's peeling back layers that could finally blow Oak Island's mystery wide open. One thing history teaches us? Secrets don't stay hidden forever. Marty's still playing skeptic, calling for more tests. He's not ready to believe just yet. But Rick? He's all in. The island's shouting the truth. The treasure's real, and they're closer than ever. Then comes the heartstopper. They drop the camera deeper into Aladdin's cave, past the bolt, past the weird rock piles and funky formations. Suddenly, it catches something that makes everyone freeze. A half-buried object that looks exactly like a wooden chest. The picture's fuzzy, but it's enough to send the team into chaos. If this is the real deal, Oak Island's biggest secret is about to come unglued. Guess who's not jumping for joy? Marty. If Rick just found what Dan chased his whole life, everything flips upside down. And not everyone's ready for that. Did Dan take the island's ultimate secret to his grave? Or did he leave breadcrumbs for the right people to follow? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.